A week ago Saturday, I visited the California Historical Radio Society Museum up in Alameda. Mostly this museum is dedicated to collecting old radio artifacts, but once a year they switch their attention to television and have a TV day, so I went to investigate. One presentation described the acquisition and restoration of this German-made TV set called a Kuba Comet. The picture tube and speakers are mounted in a unique sail, which can be swiveled around to suit the viewer, much like a Philco Predicta set.
It'll be created along with the top where all the speakers live. But this guy, Ross Blomgren, he was also supposed to do all the electronics. And after he did the cabinet, then the project sat for years and years and years. And he then accepted a job at the Rockola factory in Torrance, and he shut down his business, and he moved my TV and all his other storage to the Rockola factory, where that was sitting in storage for, I don't know, the past 5 or 6 years.
Another presentation was about the first laser optical video discs, which predated the DVD and Blu-ray discs we know today. These recorded video in analog form on a 12-inch disc. The players were mostly sold by Magnavox and Pioneer. I remember some of these discs being available at Tower Records.
This is your digital count of your frames per movie. This is your 30 per second. And 36. Sit down, frame something. Just going to show you, for example, you have a frame number, you step forward, backward, forward, one frame at a time, and you see it's rock steady. Or you can do slow motion.
The museum is mainly focused on radio. Here are a couple of old radio sets from about the 1920s. This one is an Atwater Kent, which was one of the more expensive ones at the time. But they had some interesting television artifacts in the basement. This Dumont television set, the Royal Sovereign, has one of the larger picture tubes ever made at 30 inches. Here one appears with Alan B. Dumont himself in 1950. Here is a receiver from television's first era, mechanical scanning. The image was scanned by a rapidly spinning disc with an array of holes that passed over the image one by one. Each hole scanned out one line in the picture. This TV had a 32-line picture. Today's TVs display 1,080 lines. I suspect this TV has been upgraded using a bright LED to form the image. In its day, it would have used a much less bright orange-colored neon gas tube. Here is a Philco Safari, the first truly transistorized television set. Soon after is one of the most popular transistor sets ever, the Sony Micro TV, made famous by the ads calling it a tummy TV. Here is the first transistor radio ever, the Regency TR1, made in the United States. It first hit the market in October of 1954. It used 4 germanium transistors from Texas Instruments and sold for $59.95. This is a device that was used to cut and splice 2-inch wide videotapes. This was the only way a TV show on tape could be edited at first. This editing technique was used on An Evening with Fred Astaire in 1958, Bob Hope's early shows, and Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In in the late 60s. Here are 2 examples of how it was used.
We'll now see how the editor actually makes this join. Having cut through the tape approximately at the editing point, he unlaces it from the machine and paints it with the magnetic developer. This doesn't show him the picture content, which can only be seen by running the tape through the videotape machine at normal speed. But under the microscope, it does reveal the vision recording track and the position of the edit pulse. The editor adjusts the videotape in the editing block for his exact edit point and clamps the tape in the correct position, cutting off any excess tape with the guillotine. In the same way, the editing point is found on the incoming piece of tape. The excess tape is cut off with the guillotine. By lifting the tape ends, the adhesive splicing tape is positioned beneath them. They are then pressed firmly onto this with a swab stick. The trimming block is placed on the videotape and the surplus splicing tape cut off. After the tape is unclamped and lifted out of the editing block, the join is complete.
One evening, a friend and I got to visit the man who invented this device, Mel Smith, at his home in Rancho Cucamonga, California. In the early 50s, he had been a cameraman for KTTV, Channel 11 in Los Angeles. He spent the evening entertaining us with stories about his doing remotes around LA. There was no videotape at the time, so they were all done live, and the cameras used the iconoscope pickup tube, seen here. These were the earliest types of cameras available at the dawn of television. Among the many photos on the walls of the museum is this one from the days of radio in 1942's San Francisco. It shared being the West Coast headquarters of NBC's Red and Blue radio networks for a time with Radio City in Los Angeles until LA got its own direct network feed to New York. Here's what NBC Radio City in Hollywood looked like. This beautiful building was demolished in 1964. The San Francisco building eventually housed KBHK, Channel 44. Now it houses an unrelated company called Next Door.